Hey guys, it's JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh! Here today, and I'm coming at you with an update to my INFINITRACK deck. This is incorporating both the new support from Eternity Code, which is super good, and also some engines, specifically from the Machina structure deck that came out recently. So without further ado, let's just get into the profile here. So first off, of course, we have to introduce the best cards of the INFINITRACK strategy, which is the 3 Harvester and the 3 Anchor Drill to start off. So Harvester and Anchor Drill have a similar effect where you can select a machine you control and then you combine the levels of the two, so that way Harvester and Anchor Drill, as well as the machine you selected, they become that same level. So for instance, usually INFINITRACK Harvester would be with a level 5 on the field, so that way they both become level 7, and then Anchor Drill is even more important because he makes himself and another level 5 both become level 9, which is really good because the deck focuses on rank 9 plays. Additionally, they have a secondary effect where Harvester actually lets you add one INFINITRACK monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of itself, on its normal or special summon. And then Anchor Drill actually lets you special summon an Earth Machine monster from your hand in defense position, except itself. The third most important INFINITRACK card is actually the 3 copies of INFINITRACK Trencher. Now, Trencher's really good because he has 500 attack, so that means he's a machine duplication target. And you contribute 1 Earth Machine monster on the field to special summon him from your hand in defense position, which all of the level 5 INFINITRACK monsters have this effect where you tribute a machine to special summon them out onto the field. Additionally, though, INFINITRACK Trencher is good because you can banish him from your graveyard in order to special summon 1 level 5 or lower INFINITRACK monster from your graveyard onto the field in defense position. So that means it allows you to have swarming. So basically you use machine dupe, bring out the other 2 copies of Trencher, and then you use those for like link plays or Xyz plays, get those all in the graveyard, and then you can go for some spamming later on in the duel. Next up, a new addition which I cut from 3 for my last profile to 2 is the 2 INFINITRACK Brutal Dozer. I find that he's actually pretty good. So what he does, again, he has that tributing an Earth Machine monster to special summon him from your hand in defense position. And if he's special summoned from the hand, you can special summon 1 INFINITRACK monster from your deck in defense position, but its effects are negated, and he locks you into only Earth Machine monsters for the rest of the turn, special summoning Earth Machine monsters. So even though it's really good that he special summons from the deck, so he's an instant rank 5 play basically if you have a machine on the field, an Earth Machine on the field rather. But the issue is that since he does lock you in, the best plays of the deck, in my opinion, are not even Earth Machine, but like we can go to Cyber Dragon Infinity and stuff like that, which this definitely limits our avenues. So even though his effect is really strong, his downside, in my opinion, he's good at 2, is what I'm trying to say. And then for the 1 of INFINITRACK, I just play 1 Crab Crane. Outrigger and Extension has been good in the past and is still very good for the deck, but I just find that I don't have the room for him per se, and also I just find that Crab Crane is a little lackluster, but basically he has the same tributing effect to special summon him out from your hand, and you can banish 1 machine from your graveyard to add or search an Outrigger from your deck to your hand. So that way, like I said, Outrigger isn't the best in the deck anymore, but he still is a good 1-of, so that way you can kind of get that as soon as possible for when you do need it. Next up, for the non-INFINITRACK main deck monsters, I do play 2 Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede. He has a Monster Reborn effect on summon for your Earth Machine monsters, but their effects are negated. And additionally, he has an effect similar to Anchor Drill or Harvester where you can like match levels, but instead of them where they combine, it's just you select 1 other monster you control and he either becomes the same level as that monster or they become the same level as him. So he's really good to go into some rank 4 plays because he can make basically any of your other monsters level 4, so you can instantly go into a rank 4. Additionally, a little side engine which I am keeping but I'm thinking about getting rid of is the 3 Ancient Gear Wyvern and 1 Ancient Gear Box. Let me move this over a little bit. So Ancient Gear Wyvern on summon lets you search another Ancient Gear monster from your deck to your hand, aka you search Ancient Gear Box, and then Box's effect lets you search a machine monster with 500 attack or defense. So basically he's just a way to search our copy of INFINITRACK Trencher. The reason why I'm thinking of cutting this is because the deck, because of Eternity Code, does have its own Tenki, or basically a continuous spell that searches a monster in their archetype. Since he is an Earth Machine, he can be attributed to bring out any of the other level 5 INFINITRACKs, and with Ancient Gear Box in your hand, searched and added to your hand, that's a good discard fodder for the Machina engine we're running in the deck. Speaking of Machina engine, I play 2 Machina Metal Cruncher, 1 Fortress, 1 Citadel, and then 1 Irradiator. Just move these down. So let me give my rationale. So Fortress is just a good card in general. He's basically, you can discard 8 levels worth of machine monsters in order to special summon him from your hand or graveyard. Metal Cruncher is very good, and I play 2 copies of him because if you have no other face-up cards on your side of the field, you can normal summon him without a tribute, and on his summon, you get to select 3 Earth Machines in your deck, and your opponent randomly chooses one of those to add to your hand. So this is a good searching option. The only thing is you want to see this as early as possible, so that way you have a better chance that you have no face-up cards on the field. Irradiator I have in here because if you use their search card, which we'll get into in just a moment, you'll have 2 Machinas in hand, and you can discard 1 in order to bring out Irradiator, and then Irradiator's effect lets you destroy a machine on your field in order to special summon out a Machina from your graveyard with a lower level than it. So basically, whatever you discard for Machina's effect, you just discard the other Machina in your hand, and then you can bring that Machina back, in theory. And then additionally, Citadel is here because he is also a good Machina monster, where if a face-up Earth Machine monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while Citadel is in the graveyard, you can special summon it from your graveyard to your field. So basically another play you can have is if you have a different Machina in your graveyard and Irradiator, you can destroy itself and bring out that other Machina in your graveyard, and if this is also in your graveyard, you can bring this out. So that's like 2 cards for the price of 1. I know I'm not explaining it correctly, but basically I've seen multiple deck lists that incorporate the Machina engine, and it looks about like this. These are the monsters you would play. I just play 2 Metal Cruncher, and I've seen some different ratios with these 2, but for the most part, these are the ratios I like. And then finally, just for some hand traps, I just play the 3 Ash Blossom. These are the only hand traps I'm main decking in this deck. Now onto the spells. First up for the spells, we have 3 Machina Redeployment. Now I did already mention this card and basically explain it. We'll be using the first effect of this card like 90% of the time in this deck, which is to discard a card in order to search 2 differently named Machinas from your deck and add them to your hand. This is definitely very good. It allows you to start those Machina plays that I just mentioned to you guys. And additionally, sometimes this deck will have some dead cards in it, and that's the time when you're able to use those cards for discard fodder for this. So it gets rid of some of those bricks or some of those dead cards in the deck. Additionally, my favorite support from Eternity Code for sure is the 3 Heavy Forward. This card is all around very good for an INFINITRACKs. It doesn't break them, but in terms of support, I definitely find that this is a solid piece of support. So first up, when you activate it, you add 1 INFINITRACK monster from your deck to your hand, just like Tenki with Beast Warriors, so that's definitely very good. And additionally, once per turn, you can target 1 Machine Xyz monster you control and activate 1 of 2 effects. You can either change its battle position or attach Heavy Forward to that Xyz monster as an Xyz material. That's definitely good because this deck does heavily focus on Xyz, so this allows you to add more materials to it. Additionally, I don't necessarily play much or like focus much on this aspect of INFINITRACKs, but they do have a gimmick that involves them being in attack or defense position with some of their spells and traps. I personally don't really like I said, don't really use that first effect, but it's good to get a search and then add an Xyz material to an Xyz monster. Next up, we play the 3 machine duplication just to get out Trencher. And then just the last 3 of for spells, because as you've probably noticed, this deck does a lot of searching. So Ash Blossom annihilates this deck and can be used almost all the time because this deck does so much searching. So I play 3 Called by the Grave just to get around that a little bit. Next, for the 2 ofs, I do play 2 Outrigger Extension. This card's pretty good. It's a continuous spell. Your opponent can't target your machine Xyz monsters with card effects, and once per turn you can target 1 INFINITRACK Xyz monster you control and special summon 1 machine Xyz monster from your deck 2 ranks higher than that target. This basically allows you, it's like a rank up card, but it's continuous and also protects your INFINITRACKs from card effects. So all around, it's definitely very solid, and like I said, it helps rank up your monsters. For a 1 of, I play 1 Monster Reborn because we are sending a lot of monsters to the graveyard. And then finally, another, in addition to the Ancient Gear engine that I'm running, these 2 Pinpoint Landing, I'm thinking of potentially cutting or switching up. We do a lot of special summoning from hand, and Pinpoint Landing is basically a continuous spell where every time you special summon from your hand, once per turn, you can draw a card, and then Pinpoint Landing destroys itself on the end phase of a turn that you don't special summon from hand. But this card, both the INFINITRACKs and the Machinas, and just a lot of the deck ultimately special summons from hand. So I think it's still pretty solid in this deck, but it's a small draw engine that isn't really working out as well as I think it's worth running, if you know what I mean. Now onto the extra deck. So just going to run through the extra deck a little quicker because a lot of these are more well known, and also I've done multiple other deck profiles for INFINITRACKs if you want to check those out. But basically we play Gear Gigant X to search a machine monster, as well as INFINITRACK Riverstormer. They both basically help you search your deck for machines. We play, of course, the very powerful Cyber Dragon Nova, because this is a rank 5 that can have Cyber Dragon Infinity on top of it, which Infinity is a very good boss monster to kind of sit on. In addition to the Riverstormer, we actually play, of course, the other 2 INFINITRACK Xyz monsters, the level 7 and level 9, the level 7 being Mountain Smasher, and the level 9 being Earth Slicer. So Riverstormer, like I said, searches. Mountain Smasher, you detach 1 material from this card to gain 1,000 attack points, so it's definitely the weakest link. It's just mainly used for the rank up plays. And then Earth Slicer, you can detach any number of materials from him to target that many cards on the field and destroy them. They also all have the same secondary effect, where if they're in the graveyard, you contribute 1 machine link monster to special summon it in defense position. So they do have recursion as well. Like I said, basically Riverstormer and Earth Slicer are the only good ones. Mountain Smasher is just kind of the midway point between the 2, to be honest. Additionally, the other 2 rank 9s are Phantom Fortress Enter Blathner, and also True King of All Calamities. So for the Link monsters, I do have the 1 Borrelsword Dragon. In addition, I play 2 INFINITRACK Goliath. Goliath is very good that when working in conjunction with the INFINITRACK Xyz monsters. When he's removed from the field and sent to the graveyard, you can attach him to an Xyz monster you control as a material. And additionally, if an Xyz monster has him as material that is originally machine type, it gains the following effect where this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. This is very good because what happens with your INFINITRACK Xyz is you can tribute Goliath from your field and he gets sent to the graveyard, and when you bring back your Xyz, he can attach onto them, so that way those Xyz monsters get some materials going right off the bat. In addition, I play the 1 boss monster INFINITRACK Fortress Megaclops. I know it works better in Zodiac, but I find that he's definitely pretty good in this deck as well. In addition, I play 1 Cleafort Genius, one Platinum Gadget as a nice little extender, and then one Ancient Gear Ballista because he can search that box as well, which is another reason why I'm thinking, if anything, to cut the 3 Wyvern and just have Ballista be the option and just play one box for the search. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. This is a 41 card main deck and of course a 15 card extra deck. Guys, let me know what improvements you would make to the deck. I know it's not perfect, but I definitely love the INFINITRACK strategy and the monsters themselves, and I've always been a fan of the Machina monsters, so seeing them in this deck definitely is super, super cool to me. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. It's been real. See ya!